Hey everybody. Like we previously mentioned, welcome to this session with the minority programmers in Questbook. We're really excited to have Questbook out here, one of the leading education, communities in the blockchain space right now, working to build decentralized universities and really educating thousands of people in the space in a decentralized way, using learn to earn and coming out with their own dApps. So I'm really excited to have them on. If Subhash, you want to introduce yourself and Sandeep, and we can get started with the Solana smart contract session.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thanks for the platform. That's how everyone is over here, and we want to learn. And it's pretty interesting that everyone is looking to work on the Solana, right? Despite of lots of buzz with the Ethereum and lots of other blockchain which is out there in the market. But of course, each blockchain has their own advantages and disadvantages. But I guess blockchain is a hot show right now. And of course. The kind of community it is growing within a year, it is a no-brainer that if you learn this, then you are in the top tier, right? You'll be in the top demanding languages which needs to be worked upon these days. So a brief intro about me is like I've been working in the tech domain for last 6 years, and was occupied with the Ethereum space initially, and then as we all know that Ethereum, the transaction cost and all is very, very high. Even these days, when I do the transaction, it costs me $60 or $70 for a basic transactions, right? So when we started to build the different applications, so the primary thing which came to our mind was that why people will use it to why people will pay $60 to just to use the application, just to pay a transaction fee. So in that way, we came across a different blockchain, and Solana was one of the hot blockchain which popped up, and we explored it, and then that's how we got into the Solana, and we realized that it is not just one of the best blockchain, and it is also one of the cost efficient. It just cost you one tenth of the penny to a transaction, and it is very fast. If you talk about the Ethereum, it takes around 5 to 6 minutes for a transaction to get done, right? But on the Solana, it is very quick. Though the node validators are also there, everything is happening. It's a proof of stake, proof of history, and but still it is very fast, right? So we wanted to explore Solana, and that's how we got into the Solana. We competed for the hackathon, and we also won the hackathon in the Solana itself. So I'll share my experience, right? So what is the biggest misconception as of now is that to work on Solana, you need to know the Rust. So that is the misconception I want to avoid.
Remember that developers are very, very tech savvy. They're going to look at the technology.
Sorry.
Yes, sorry about that. That was put up mute.
Okay, sure. So I was saying that one of the biggest misconception about Solana is that you need to know Rust, only then you'll be able to work with Solana, right? But that is not the case. And of course, I know that when I also started, I was also looking for the Rust tutorials, how to know the Rust, how to write code in Rust so that I can work on the Solana, right? But that is not the case. I would say if you want to work with Solana, just you need to be very, you need to be good with your engineering skills. Let's say if you are coming from the engineering background, if not, then you just need to know the JavaScript and the Web3 for the Solana, right? Because the community is so rich that they have deployed almost all the smart contracts out there in the mainnet, and you can reuse them and you can work on top of it. You can build the cool applications, and you can solve some real world problem. Okay. So these days, like we also built one application, and that application, you'll be surprised that it is not using Rust. It's not even using Rust 5%, right? The whole application is built just using the pure Web3 and the on-chain programs which are available from the Solana. So just to excite you more, I'll try to share my screen. I'll show you what we built and what all the features are there in the application. So let me just present it. Yeah. So we built recently a website which is called soulgames.fun, right? So in this website, so this is a gaming platform basically, and in this platform, what you can do is you can come and you can pay some fees. You know, the fees is in terms of the platform specific token, and after paying that fees, you can play the game, and you will also earn some tokens of it, and you'll be able to create the NFT also, and there is a payment gateway also integrated into this. You know, so if you see the number of features which is happening here is a lot, right? There are at least 10 features which is happening in terms of the blockchain. But everything is happening with the reusing the smart contracts which we got on the Solana platform, you know. So all these things are all available. We just reused it and we clubbed it together so that we can build this platform. Okay. I'll just give you a demo how you can, you know, how this works is, I'll try to log in once. Sure. So let's say this is a game. Okay, this is a bunny runner game. I'll say login by wallet. We'll say pay and play. So you see that we need to pay 160 Solg tokens. I'll say pay and play, and the transaction is going to happen in real time. You know, so this is going to deduct some Solg tokens from the account, and it is going to submit to the games account which we have built. So this transaction is happening on the DevNet. That's why it's a little delay. So this is the game. Let's say which has been built. Okay, I'll just try to get DAI. Okay. Now, if it says that claim tokens, you know, so what happening here is you played the game by paying some fees from the Solana blockchain. Now you played the game, so we want to incentivize the user, right? So here the terminology which comes into the picture is how you can withdraw the tokens, right, from the Solana blockchain. So that's what we are doing. So before claiming token, you can also create the NFT over here. Let's say we are saying Solg NFT here. So this is the NFT. Okay. Yeah. So this is saying that this will be a charge for creating the NFT that is in the Sol. So the transaction is again going to take place for the NFT, and so this is going to happen on the again on the DevNet because the application is in DevNet only. Is taking because of network or what?
What's it uploading to? Like Arweave, IPFS? Like...
Yeah, so we are uploading it to the RV. That's what we are doing. So now it is again asking for the final transaction. We'll do the transaction. Let's see where it happens. Yeah. So if you see that we have the NFT created over here, you know. So now this NFT, if you want to check, it will be on the Explorer. So you can see the mint address is over here, you know, and the maximum supply of the token is 1. Okay. So the NFT has been created. Now, what we can do is we can claim our 1 Solg token. So the algorithm works is the more number of minutes you play, the more tokens you can claim, right? So the feature which is going to work over here is the airdrop, right? So we talk about the airdrop feature and we scare about it is that we need to write the Rust code, which is not true. You can do the airdrop just with the Web3 and with your deployed custom token. We'll come to that part as well. So I'll say claim token. Now the transfer is going to be initiated. Okay, we'll see over here the tokens will be increased. So we have 457. It should be done. Let's just wait for it. So the idea behind this is it is going to happen. So idea behind this to show is that what we are doing is we are creating the tutorial of all this thing which is happening behind the scene in the Questbook, So what you can do is you can come to the Questbook platform, and you can do all these things what we have done in this platform step by step, So what we have done in the platform is we have created our own platform specific token, that is Solg tokens, if you can see over here. So how to create that token, right? So that is a tutorial, right? So if you come over here, we have detailed down all these steps, right? How you can build, how you can create your own token. Okay. So this steps is going to involve, right? And there is no Rust code into it, right? It's the best part about it. There is no Rust code. You just need to know the JavaScript. You just need to know the basics of React.js, right? So we'll go through it, and we have tried to explain all the basic keys over here also, right? What is mint authority, right? What is associate account? What is minting token? What is transfer token? So what all these basic terminologies mean in terms of the developer point of view, when we read the documents, it does not clear well, right? But when we see what we have already done, it will be more clear, right? Because it is from the real world experience what we are doing. Okay. Now this what we are trying to do over here is we have tried to create the flow also. So if you see, if you have to create the custom token, you need to create a mint authority, right? Now to create a mint authority, you need to create a new account, right? Now to create a new account, we will use some function, and then we will initialize that account with the mint key, right? So it's very jumbled word, right? So what we will do is we will go step by step into this and how this everything is falling into the place, right? So let's say to set up the mint, right? So first step is to set the mint, because we want to create the new mint authority, right? So we'll go there, let's create a new key pair, which we want to convert as a mint authority, right? And how you can do is just a single line of code. Let mint equals to new account. And everyone in the JS can understand that this is just a very simple code, right? Now we can go to the next step. The next step is to create the account, right? How we want to create the account, right? How you are going to create the account. So creating the account is over here, right? How you are going to create the account on the Solana blockchain. So for that, we know that for everything to happen, we need to have the transaction in place, right? So we can leverage the use of Web3 over here, and we can see what is the transaction, right? So in the transaction, we have the transaction, and we are adding a instruction over here. So let's decode this instruction. We have system program, that is create account. So what we want to do is we want to create a public, we want to create a key from the owner public key. That's owner is me, right? Who is creating this mint account, and who is the account. So for which we want to create for this mint, right? This is also account. Now, what is a LAMP port? So LAMP port is something, right? The GUI, right? In the Ethereum, we have the least number of Ether, we call it as GUI. Here we call it as LAMP ports, right? So one LAMP port is 10 to the power 9. So that's the math over here. And the program ID. So this is the crux of this. What is program ID? So program ID is a on-chain program which has been already deployed by the Solana, which you can use to create your own tokens, so which you can leverage it and you can create your own token in the market. You don't need to write the Rust code for it. Whereas if you go to the Ethereum and all, you need to write the Solidity for it, right? Of course, there are already created templates for you, which you can fork and you can create your tokens, but still you need to have some understanding of Solidity, right? Which is not the case over here. You already have the tokens with you, and you can create the token, you can create the custom token, which for your itself, you can create it by the, the on-chain program. Okay, so we'll go through it. What is that program ID? And we'll try to decode it also, Now we are initializing the mint, and we are creating the mint. That's it. Now the token will be created. So these are just the code, what you can do is, so in the last part, what we have done is we have summed up everything together, right? So what we are not doing the Rust code right away in this quest. Why? Because we don't want to overwhelm you guys that you need to know the Rust. Hey, you need to know the Rust to code anything on the Solana. We don't want that, right? We want you to explore the Solana first. We want you to see how easy it is to develop things on the Solana, and then we can go forward with start developing with the Rust, right? That is no brainer that Rust is required for moreover complex thing, like if you want to create your own DAO, if you want to create your own escrow accounts, those things definitely require us. But for the basic things like creating the NFT, doing the transaction, having the airdrops, you might not need to know the Rust. You can do everything with the JavaScript. That's why we are emphasizing more on the JavaScript, so that we can get more developers from the Web2 world on the platform, and then they can use the platform, and gradually they will learn how the Solana ecosystem works, and then they can learn the Rust on the way, so that's some idea behind doing everything with the JavaScript. And it took us quite a bit of time for us also to explore everything, and to get everything working on the JavaScript, because we had to write our own transpiler and all those things, but everything is working. So if you can go through this quest, you'll see all the code has been written into a single file. You can just copy paste it and it will work for you, and it's everything is JavaScript, right? If you see all the things, it's just a pure JavaScript functions, and it's a React.js code, so yeah, that's it. So in the quest also, we are adding more quests onto it, right? We are adding how to do the airdrop of the tokens. We are also adding how to do the distributions of the token if with the users account IDs. So all those things are coming up. Stay tuned to the quest book, and whatever you are seeing in the Soul Games, whatever is happening, I think it's some network or something has broken. So whatever you see as a feature in the Soul Games, all the features will be laid down on the quest book, so that everyone can learn and everyone can grow together. That's the ideology behind it. Let's take some questions, I guess. This is something which I wanted to share. We are also working on different product, and we are trying to leverage the JavaScript only, and Rust will be minimal there, but of course we are targeting the Web3 and the JavaScript first.
What's like where is like just straight Web3 Solana documentation? Can we look at that real quick just to see?
Yes.
Are you maintaining that, or like who's maintaining that?
So that is of course is there. So we have we are maintaining most of the parts, whatever findings we are doing. We are maintaining on the quest book. This is a single go-to repository which you will not find anywhere. And apart from that, we are leveraging the open source SQL token libraries. If you see, if my screen is visible, yeah. So this library has everything in place. You can do everything from this repository, that you can, of course, you can also create the stake pool. You can create the token lending, token swap, tokens. All those things are there, but it requires some knowledge of Rust, and you have to go through it, right? So we don't want user to overrun this much in the beginning. So that's why we are trying to jot it down in a single place, so that everything will be segregated, and you can learn step by step. You can learn first to create the token, then you can learn how to distribute it, then you can learn how to do the airdrops, right? Then you can learn how to create the NFT, all with the Web3, all with the JavaScript. That's the motto here.
Where are the program IDs for the JavaScript? Like, is this you guys transpiling it from Rust to Questbook? Is there any JavaScript SDKs in here, or any equivalent?
Okay, great. So what we are doing is we are using the Web3 Solana. Is my screen visible right now?
Yeah, we see Google, we see Chrome.
Yeah, so we are using this package, Solana Web3, and to use this package, you can see there are lots of functions which are being exposed from this, right? If you see on the right side, right? So if you have to create an account, let's go to account. And if you come over here, you'll see what it requires. It requires a secret key, and it requires, yeah, that's it. It requires secret key, and that is also optional, right? So this is what exactly we did over here. If you come to the quest, where it is, yeah. So this step, so this is exactly what we did to create a new account, right, from the Web3. So you need to go through the Web3, and you can get everything out there, So this is the account function. Let's say we want to see the transaction, let's go to transactions. Let's see how we can do the transactions. We are doing some instructions over here. Let's say transactions. Yeah, this is transactions. So this is the transactions what we are using. So it has the different structure, all the fields over there. So better to understand it is, you'll not get it from the website, right? So what you can do is what the way we followed is we are doing, let me show it once. Yeah. Is my screen visible, the VS Code which I'm showing?
Yeah, it is. We see the airdrop token in Solana University repo.
Correct, correct. So I'll show you what we are trying to do over here is how we are learning. I'll show a very basic thing over here. Yeah. We'll go to front end, see REST. So let's say this is a program which we are just trying and testing. So I talked about Web3, right? So this is a web3.js code. Okay. The step to go is you click on it and you will see the index.ts file. So this file has all the contracts, right? So if I say account, this will have the account, right? So this is a class of the account, and you can understand it because it's a pure JavaScript, right? What it requires a secret key. It is optional, right? Because it's a TypeScript, so it is optional. So you can call this function and you can, because it's a constructor, right? You can directly call this and you'll be able to create it, right? So this is the reverse engineering which we have done with the Web3, because their documentation is not that great. If you read it, it is not that great. That's why what we have done is we have reverse engineered everything and we have understood it from there, right? So if you talk about the transaction, it's also a same way. Like this. So yeah, now this is a transaction class. Now in this class, you will see what it requires. It requires some optional parameters, right? Now, if you have to check the optional, you can click on it and you'll be able to see what it requires, right? It requires a recent block hash. It requires a non-info. It requires a fee payer who wants to pay the fee and the signatures required for it, this transaction. So, so in this way, you can, of course, reverse engineer everything on the Web3 and you'll be able to get everything working from the Web3. Right. And when you talked about the token IDs, I'll just show you the what kind of IDs we are using. We'll say we have segregated everything in a place, right? So let's say if you want to create a token program, that's a custom token, you can use this token program ID, right? If you want to create your associate token programs where you want to airdrop into others wallet, you can use this, right? So there are different things. Then we have the metadata program ID. Let's say with the NFT, you need to store some metadata with it, right? Like an image, like an audio file. So what sort of on-chain program you will use? We can use this on-chain program, which is metadata program, which we are already using it in the Sol games, right? So in the same way, we can have the vault, we can have of course, the token receivers, all those things we have jotted down over here. And we are leveraging Web3 with all the program IDs to build everything from end to end. That's what we are doing.
So say we had like a custom breeding contract that we wrote in Rust, and we wanted to interact with it using like the Web3 on the JS level. Is there a way to set that up? Or
yeah, of course. So how it works is the moment you have a Rust program with you, you'll deploy it, and the moment you will deploy it, you'll get some IDs, right? So that is ID which you can have, let's say over here, So this is a token program, and it's similar to like, let's say you wrote a Rust program, you will have an ID with you. Okay, so that ID you can consume it, like you can put it over here. Okay, and then you can let's say you want to have some transaction, right? So this transaction is looking for this this transaction signature. So this is something which you will write, right? This is the interface of your Rust program. Okay, so in this you can say that what you are expecting in your function, you are expecting the public key, some new account public key, and program ID. So what program ID you are looking for, that is you will provide over here. So in this way you'll be able to interact with your Rust contract which you have deployed on the Solana blockchain. There's some questions.
what what would you say like the the main barriers to learning are for people coming in to just Rust, working with the SDK off JavaScript? Like, what are people struggling with the most that you see they're asking questions most about in your communities?
Yes. I know Rust definitely hampers the productivity because people is scared of it at first. That's what I'm trying to explain. You don't need to know Rust at all, right? To build application, build app on the Solana. That's the whole agenda of this. Yeah, so Yankee is asking a question that, yeah, at first I thought, yeah, so smart contract, yeah, of course, it seems big that Web3 and to create a Web3 dApp from the Web3 is a very big thing. But I would say if you understand Web3 once, then you can create any number of dApps based on the requirement, right? So we are also creating a, like, you know, a specific platform for the women, right? Women-centric platform where they will be able to vote how many people, like which sort of people they want on the platform, right? So this is kind of a voting platform. It's kind of a DAO, right? So we want to create a DAO for it. So for this kind of platform, you definitely need to know some understanding of the Rust, right? Because it requires voting, it requires some knowledge of the decentralized organization, right? But you are not going to start with it from the day one, right? You will start from in the day one, like learning through the basics, right? Creating some dApps of your own, which are basic, very basic dApp, and then you will learn all these things on the go, right? You will not learn it in a day. So that's what we want to achieve here.
Are there any like development flows that are different on here? Because like you saw, like the transaction kind of failed earlier. I know like we messed up an Arweave upload one time and we wasted $3,000 doing that. And so like there's like and then sometimes Arweave is really slow when we're on Metaplex. Like you'll see the assets will take forever. I saw some people using like AWS to host their NFTs and things like that. So is there anything that you like specifically stands out?
Yeah, so definitely when we started using the, when we started building on the Solana, we, of course, Arweave is one of the best option in the Solana, but when we talk about the metadata account, it is not restricted to anything, right? You can store anywhere, right? So we also tried IPFS also, but unfortunately that was slower than the Arweave, right? So of course, what you said, S3 uploading was one of the, option we chose with, and we also went with the Cloudinary, right? So Cloudinary is an image hosting service, image hosting provider, which you can use. That will reduce the cost, right? They offers 20 GB of space just if you refer someone, right? So you can get easily 100 GB of space for free, right? And that is very fast. They have multiple CDNs on the market, okay, in the different regions. So Cloudinary is something which I would suggest you can go with to save money in the initial, and it is also one of the things you can take it to production also. There's no harm in it.
So for those who are like kind of looking at this and they're interested, but they don't know how to get started with the Solana ecosystem, and they want to like just start getting and understanding the ecosystem, like where like
Correct.
you go to just to be a Solana head.
Okay. So what I would suggest is, let me just pull Solana doc once. When you talk about start building, there is something called Solana terminologies. Yeah, so this link prefer. So whoever is starting with the Solana, so you need to know some basic terminologies of the ecosystem, right? So this page, this docs.solana terminology, it provides a comprehensive list of those terminologies, right? Which you can go through initially to understand what it is saying, right? Why it is different from the other platform, right? But if you're not coming from any blockchain environment, blockchain ecosystem, then it is going to be super easy to understand, right? But if you're coming from the Ethereum, let's say Ethereum ecosystem, then you have to unlearn something which you have learned over there, because things over here are little different than the Ethereum space, right? Because I come from the Ethereum background, so I can definitely compare those things, right? So if you don't know about a blockchain, then that is a very best thing, because you don't need to unlearn anything, right? It is just you will learn this thing and you will be starting with the development, right? So this page explain all the different terminologies which are happening in the Solana, right? So once you go through it, there is no brainer that you will not understand any terminology which we are talking, right? When we are talking about transaction ID, TPS, token, tick height, all these things you will understand, right? With when you go through this, right? And after once you go through this, the first step is to go through the Web3, right? Don't look into the Rust program initially, right? Go through the Web3 and try to understand that what Web3 is doing, right? How it is interacting with the accounts, let's say the different programs, right? So here, if you see that we have different functions over here. So first, first understand what use case you want to build, right? So foremost thing is, for anything to do in the blockchain, you need to understand the transaction, right? You need to understand how the signature will work in the transaction, right? So for that thing, the transaction function over here is the most important function, which I would say. If you understand this transaction, then you can crack anything in the Solana space, or even in the Ethereum space also, because it is one of the critical part, right? So understand the transaction part, right? And then start with like what sort of requirements you have. You want to create the NFT, or you want to create your own tokens, or you want to create your some escrow account, vesting accounts. You want to create a decentralized exchange. Read about those things and then read about those functions over here. See if the on-chain program is already there or not. So if you want to create, open source decentralized exchange, right? You have Serum with you, so Serum is a completely open source, Serum Dex. Yeah. So Serum, if you guys know that it is the biggest decentralized exchange on the Solana, you can go through this and you will learn that this is completely open source. And if you do the reverse engineering this, you will be able to do this decentralized exchange over here also in the Solana, right? So they have their on-chain programs which are deployed, right? Again, as I said, you can use Web3 to interact with the on-chain programs, right? There is a mainnet, there is a devnet, and you will be able to create, do your first transaction or do your first swapping of the tokens on the Serum. So this is completely open source. In the similar way, if you want to go with the Metaplex, right? So you have, if you want to go with NFT, then you have the Metaplex with you. So Metaplex is again, it's like similarly open source like Serum, but Serum is the decentralized exchange, and Metaplex is, it is the universe of NFT, right? You can learn anything about the NFT from the Metaplex on the Solana blockchain. We also learned it from there. So you just go here, go to Fork GitHub, and you will see that all the things are here available, right? Their documentation is perfect, right? You will understand everything from it, and you can see what all the tokens are present in this. Let me pull up something.
You can start up on GitHub Pages and Metaplex storefront in 5 minutes. Like I would highly recommend, if you just don't React, like I'd highly recommend setting this up.
Okay, so you're saying that if I can give you some steps, or if a person knows the React.
I'm just letting the audience know that like this only takes 5 minutes to set up a Metaplex repo on GitHub Pages right now. That you can set it up quickly.
Correct. It is 5 minutes. You will install this and it will be up and running, right? Now it's up to you how you are going to reverse engineer it and how you're going to learn all the different features from the Metaplex.
Hey Sandeep, Sahil here. Am I audible?
Yeah. Hi Sahil, please.
Awesome. Excellent presentation as always. So I had a question.
Yeah.
So let's say someone who's coming from Ethereum background, who has done some who has written some smart contracts in Ethereum and so on. Let's say that person is wanted to create an NFT project. So there are different tools available, like you just saw, Metaplex, and there are other tools available like Anchor, and we can also create NFTs directly using Solana, I think CLI, right?
Yes.
So just how we are creating SPL tokens in our Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you suggest would be the best option for a beginner Solana/Rust developer to create an NFT project, and what are the different pros and cons of using these different projects, right?
Okay, great question. So there are three aspects of this question. First is you already know Ethereum, right? You already know how to develop on the Ethereum, and then you are coming onto the Solana, right? That's one thing. One is you don't know anything about Solana, you don't know anything about blockchain, then you are developing over here. and one is that you are a Rust developer and you want to work on the NFT, right? That's three different phases. So if you already know Ethereum, right? So that means if you already know Solidity, that means you know how the blockchain works, right? That means you know how the transaction is going to take place. What is metadata account, right? What is smart contract? These terminologies you are familiar with, right? So in this case, you can go through the Metaplex, right? And in the Metaplex you have the section called Rust, and in the Rust you have the Metaplex, and they have written their whole Rust over here, right? So if you know all the how the transaction and everything works, you can go through this, right? Just to have a peek of like how things work in the Solana, and then you can directly use their JavaScript, what they have written. Yeah, in this. So this is a completely working React repo. So from this, you can again reverse engineer it. You can explore the Web3, how it works. Like, of course, Web3 is also there in the Ethereum. In the Solana, it is little different because some terminologies are different. So you can explore it and you'll be able to good to go, right? With the Metaplex, right? And if you don't know anything about the Solana and blockchain, then first you need to know the terminologies in the Solana. And the link which I referred, that is there's no brainer that you need to understand it first, and only then you'll be able to go with the other different terminologies, right, which are present. And to work on the NFT before you know anything is going to be little overwhelming. So I would suggest that first understand, to create little transaction, right? Just to understand that how you can transfer some soul from one account to another account, right? Because NFT, when you're going to create the NFT, you will be transferring the NFT from your account to the another account, right? So indirectly that you are also doing. So first learn how this transaction is working, right? Then understand what is metadata account, right? How the things work in NFT, right? What is NFT pehle to? Okay, first of all, what is NFT? And after that, how the transaction is working. Then understand how the transaction is working in the Solana, right? So there are certain steps to go about it. And then again, you have the Metaplex, you have the Quest and Quest book, where we are also creating the quest about it. You can learn from there, right? And if you already know the Rust, of course, in the Metaplex, the Rust programs are there. You can tweak it over there. So in the Metaplex right now, you have the royalty programs, you have the programs to just transfer the ownership of the NFT and all. But there are a few open-ended questions over here also, right? How can you create a NFT by crowdfunding it, right? So those kind of smart contracts has not been written. So you can contribute to those kind of contracts, and if you know the Rust, then you can create these smart contracts for them.
Yeah.
So these are the three different ways by which you can learn and you can create the NFT on the Solana.
And on top of Metaplex, there's like a community of its own. There's like Candy Machine. There's like Fair Launch coming out. There's a bunch of cool functionality that's adding to the overall code base of Metaplex. And then I also want to quickly show, just as a user outside of development, like a Phantom wallet, like make sure to download that. And if you could kind of briefly show, just like as a user or someone who cops NFT, someone who engages in the ecosystem, like where do they go to so they can just like, because a lot of times that's one of the easiest things too, just like getting Solana and playing around with the ecosystem also helps understand the transactions before just writing it as well. If you haven't gotten into this space, if you can quickly show them like the Phantom wallet, which is like the MetaMask equivalent in the ecosystem, it's pretty cool. It lets you like see NFTs within your browser extension too. And then there's a few other Solana projects. Can you just show them like a Solana ecosystem map real quick?
Yeah, please. I'll show that. So best thing about learning Solana right now is it's not like that I am the brand ambassador for Solana, but it's my personal experiences that the market in the Ethereum is very saturated, right? You have lots of applications, tons of applications which are already there built on the Ethereum, right? And to break that any market in the Ethereum, it's a little difficult because already there are players in it, right? But in Solana, the ecosystem is still evolving, right? If you are into a particular niche, you can create that, and it will be a great opportunity for your skills to be on the market, right? So it's not that as big as Ethereum right now, right? So it's a very high time to learn this and to unleash your skills. So that's my personal suggestions. So if you go about ecosystem, we can explore like how many projects we have, right? So if you talk about the NFT, in the NFT we have how many? Not more than, we have 193 projects, which is not even, I guess, 10% of what Ethereum has, right? If you talk about DEX tools, we have very less DEX tools over here. Yeah, only 41 projects. So we are talking about the Serum. It is one of the best. Then we have the 1inch also. So this Serum is completely open source. Anyone can learn how to create the decentralized exchange, and they can work on it, right? You can create your own Serum replica, and just few tweaks, you'll be able to do it. So the documentation is really great. And we were talking about the Metaplex, right? Let's go to NFT. Let's see, Metaplex is there or not.
Yeah, and then to a comment there, I saw something about EVM, compatibility coming up too. I don't know if they're working that on a project as well.
Yes. So yeah, there are a few folks who are working on to, they are trying to build a bridge between the Ethereum and the Solana, so that the smart contracts you have written on the Ethereum, you should not be writing the Rust for the same, right? So you should be able to port the same solidated code from the Ethereum to the Solana blockchain. So that's what they are building. I think it's a very cool project where people will be able to learn more, right? They'll be able to do it.
Yeah, this is definitely something that, especially a lot of projects right now, like a lot of liquidity, a lot of sellouts are happening in Solana. We've done a few successful projects on Solana, and that's what we're recommending. Unless a particular artist wants to drop on ETH specifically, we'll always recommend Solana right now. Like that's the number one over
Correct.
like in the NFT game right now. That's what I would say. But Denison itself is in the NFT marketplace is getting pretty saturated as well. So they're now building more and more functionality on top of that too. And they just had a Solana hackathon. I think the voting is still up.
I'll show you. We just participated in Solana Ignition, and it's not about just participation. It's about the scale of how they are doing it, right? We'll just go through the post once.
Yeah, their ecosystem is huge. They even like have an ambassador program.
So they are doing 51 lakh. It's like more than 51 million, right? For the prizes. So they are, growing big, right? So this is one of the international level hackathon we just recently ended. We participated in it also. Let's see. But what I'm trying to say is see the number of people who are interested in it. The companies who want to sponsor these developers. So it is definitely growing. And having said that, it is a little new into the market, just 2 or 3 years, let's say. It is a very high time to work on it, develop cool things and get Insta grants, right? So they have the grants also. If you talk about the Solana grants, they have the program also, which you can kickstart your project. You'll get funding, and they can do from 50K to 100K easily, right? So that's what they code, right? So this is something which can entice you, which can motivate you to work on this and to learn something new. And I would say that if you learn Rust, so Rust is not just specific to Solana, right? You can use your Rust skills to develop the server-side languages also, right? You can use it to build the Web2 applications, right? If you are a developer, if you learn the Solidity, you will not be able to use it anywhere, right? That's a very big advantage of learning the Rust. So Solidity is just with Ethereum, but Rust can be with anything, right? And Rust is very, very good language if you compare with the other language in the market, right? It's the successor of C++, right? So it's very the memory management is best, space management is best. Their EVM is very good. So that's one of the core advantage which you will get after learning Rust, that you will be able to run the smart contract on Solana. You'll be able to develop the Web2 application as well. And the demand of Rust to Rust developers are growing high day by day. Everyone is moving to that.
Yeah.
That's one of the advantages of Rust.
Yeah, to this group here, a small shameless plug. We are like at Questbook, we are also trying to get a few angels or funds, even the formal VC funds and crypto native funds, to come and start evaluating some of the projects that are getting built, interesting projects. And if they need the initial seed money, we want to provide that to those projects. So if you have any interesting projects, not just in Solana, but any of the Web3 projects, please reach out to us. Solana, Near, Solidity. Please reach out to us, and we may be able to help you. And point number two, we have started a small student-focused hackathon. This is learn, collaborate, and then build kind of a hackathon, a 4-week-long hackathon, where Questbook will mentor people who are like absolutely beginners, students. This is targeted primarily at students in colleges and universities. To learn for a couple of weeks, to work on a few problems, interesting problems like these for 1 week, and then go on to build a team and participate in our hackathon. The prize money is 1 Ethereum and half an Ethereum each. More than the prize money, it will be a great learning experience for beginners to get a sense of the Web3 technologies. Of course, this one is in Solidity, Ethereum, but no, we'll definitely do a lot more in Solana space as well. So do check us out on questbook.app, and if you are a student, or if you know of any students or student clubs who are interested in participating in the hackathon, please register there. We would love to see a lot of participation from here.
Awesome. So we're getting to the time where we're running out of time. So I would really like to thank Questbook for coming out and showing us how to get started. I really think this is valuable. Like, like minority programmers, like we're hiring Rust developers, we're hiring Solidity developers. Is very high in demand, and especially in the Solana ecosystem. So I highly advise you to check it out. And yeah, so thank you for coming. And I'll make the recording available a little bit later today.